There's no organization on the American shooting sports scene as unique as the North-South Skirmish Association. Founded in 1950, the NSSA has over 4,000 individual skirmishers in its 200-member teams. Each group represents a specific Civil War regiment or unit and wears the uniform they wore over 140 years ago. And while the NSSA experience shares many things in common with other Civil War pursuits, it is not a reenactment organization. It exists to compete in the shooting of Civil War period black powder firearms, rifle muskets, carbines, revolvers, even artillery. NSSA member units compete from Michigan to Mississippi to Maine, and they're divided into several geographic regions. Regional competitions are held throughout the summer. The shooting season traditionally begins and ends with the national competitions held each spring and fall at the NSSA home range, Fort Shenandoah, near Winchester, Virginia, where the firing line is more than a quarter-mile long. NSSA competitions, or skirmishes, follow an established format. Usually the 2 or 3 day weekend programs open with individual target shooting. These matches are in a classic bullseye format. Distances are 50 and 100 yards for shoulder arms and 25 and 50 yards for revolvers. These matches are classified so that the shooters compete with others at the same skill level. Basic team matches consist of 8 competitors in musket and carbine and 4 in repeating rifle and revolver. They shoot at breakable targets in a timed match. Member units often field teams for all 4 matches. Target selections are simple, yet they must conform to set rules. All targets must be breakable, and common targeting includes clay pigeons, ceramic tiles, and clay pots. The 4-member revolver teams use NSSA-approved reproductions of pistols that were used in the Civil War. At the sound of the horn, firing commences. The first team to break all its targets wins the event. The teams with the lowest total time for the several events win and are awarded medals or ribbons. Carbine teams are made up of 8 shooters, although at regional competitions, 5-member teams are common. A carbine is a shorter firearm. It was designed to be used by a mounted soldier. In the Civil War, there were many types of carbines in action. In the Confederacy, muzzleloaders were most often used, while the Federal cavalry were primarily equipped with breech loaders. Both types are used in the carbine competition. Any non-repeating carbine that was used in the Civil War or an approved reproduction may be used. This event has the highest percentage of original guns in competition. The newest addition to skirmishing is the breech loading rifle competition. It showcases some of the new technology that was used during the war. Magazine-fed cartridge-firing rifles like the Henry produced incredible firepower. Little wonder the Confederates called the Henry that damned Yankee rifle you loaded on Sunday and fired all week. Shooting Civil War artillery makes for very special competition. Several units are expert with the mortar. A mortar is an artillery piece designed to shoot a projectile at a high angle. In the Civil War, they were used to drop shells behind fortifications. Each team's target is a stake 100 yards downrange, where they try to drop their shots in as close as possible. But a good group requires good aim. Teams use a plumb bob to line up the mortar for windage. The target range is determined by the powder charge and adjusted by adding more or less powder depending on the weather conditions that day. The crew that puts its shots the shortest total net distance from their stake is the winner. For skill and spectacle, nothing beats the big guns. Cannon competition is divided into 2 classifications: smoothbores and rifles. Many of the guns are original pieces made during the Civil War. The cannons shoot at both a classic bullseye and a silhouette of an artillery piece to simulate counter-battery fire. Each gun requires a crew of 6 that serves the gun exactly as it did during the Civil War. Nowhere else can you see this much Civil War artillery firing live ammunition. And on very special occasions, you just might see competition at night, like this unique match on our 50th anniversary. Skirmishing is a family sport, and women compete along with the men. There are now many units where husbands and wives and their children shoot together. For women who choose to remember the Civil War in a more traditional way, there's the costume competition. These ladies recreate the clothing of the period. They gather to match their skills and knowledge and give awards for the best reproduction of Civil War period clothing. Sunday morning brings the grand finale of the skirmish weekend, where every unit competes in the musket matches. At the Nationals, over 3,000 shooters compete. But before the shooting begins, the competing units pause to pay tribute to their nation and the men of the North and South who struggled in the Civil War. With the ceremonies over, the shooting commences. The musket competition is hotly contested. Here, any original Civil War muzzle-loading firearm or approved reproduction is allowed. Loading speed and accuracy are the combination needed to win this infantryman's match. Here's just how that's done.
Pull your cartridge, bite your bullet, pour the powder, hit the bullet, ram it home, cap the rifle, aim and fire.
Through the thick smoke, the units struggle to beat the clock. Just like individual matches, teams are classified so that each team competes at its own skill level. As always, strict safety rules are enforced. Teams in contention watch the time scores closely as medal places change with each event. Finally, the last target is broken. The winners have been decided, and another skirmish is history. Shooters clean their firearms, break camp, and prepare to return to everyday life in a different century. Skirmishers come from all walks of life, but they're united by a fascination with the Civil War and the thrill of period firearms competition. If you'd like more information about the NSSA, visit our website, www.n-ssa.org.